Bit shell-shocked after Big Ben referred to playing next season as an if. However, his coach not surprised that the 35-year-old was contemplating walking away. Mike Tomlin also addressed Antonio Brown in that infamous locker room Facebook Live. Yeah, you remember that. And his behavior after the AFC Championship loss.
He said it, so you do take it seriously. And, I think that's a fair assessment in terms of where he is in his career. I'm not alarmed by it. I just think that's football. Obviously, I'm hopeful that he returns, and his return, obviously, or potential for his return or not returning will weigh heavily in our planning. But I'm not alarmed or surprised by that thought process. That's life. He's a significant component, the most significant component of what it is that we do, and we'll plan and react accordingly. I'm going to continue to challenge him in the ways that I've challenged him over the course of his career, to continue to find new ways to be an impact player for us, to continue to grow within the role that is his role on this team. He's a dynamic player. There are responsibilities that come with being a dynamic player. I'm going to ask him to continue to grow in those areas.
Well, now the party can start because Damian Woody's in the house. How we feeling?
I'm good. Stephen A. avoiding me again as usual.
Man, what you doing there? What you doing? I wasn't aware.
Wherever he is, I don't know.
I wasn't aware that you was on the show today. I didn't know you were allowed on the show today. I mean, what you doing here? What you doing here for? Why you always coming when I'm not there? When you running from me? When I'm in studio, I can't find
you. You two are the same person or something. Either someone's like, in other words, you're never in the same place at the same time, you two.
Yeah, because when I'm in Bristol, he's hiding. He's hiding.
No.
I like how you flip that, Stephen.
No, whatever.
That's called flipping the script.
He tries.
He's got that down. Stephen A., I know you were pretty salty after your Pittsburgh Steelers loss. What should the panic level be there in Pittsburgh?
The panic level should be, I would say, at about a 6. Do I think that Ben Roethlisberger is going to retire? No, I do not. I think this offense is high-powered. I think it believes in it. I think the Antonio Brown distraction was a small matter. It should not have happened. He was right. It was right for him to be fined. It was right for him to be called out by Coach Tomlin and Big Ben Roethlisberger. They're both class personified. They're highly professional, and they're highly productive. And they were right to say what they said about Antonio Brown, who's a big-time receiver and a decent person, but should know better than what he did. He betrayed this team, and it's just that simple. You got to address that, which they did. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it's ultimately small because Antonio Brown showed up. He was just doubled all day long, 7 receptions for 77 yards. It wasn't his fault that guys couldn't catch passes, whether it's Jesse James, whether it's this kid Hamilton, whether it's Coates or dropping passes and all of that stuff. But I do believe what Big Ben Roethlisberger is contemplating is the load that he has to carry. He wants that dissipated and diminished significantly. When you look at the Steelers, their offense was ranked 10th overall. They had like the 5th ranked passing attack, 14th ranked rushing attack. You don't need Le'Veon Bell being suspended for 3 games. You don't need Martavis Bryant being suspended for the year because they can't stay off the weed. But what you really don't need if you're Ben Roethlisberger is having to go out there feeling like you got to score every single possession because your defense can't stop anybody. Now, the Steelers' defense came on strong in the second half of the season, but we all know how highly suspect their defense is. They have no pass rush to speak of. Their linebackers with Shazier, Harrison, and Timmons, obviously you're happy with that to some degree, but their secondary stinks. Mitchell, Sean Davis, Cockrell. I mean, just the list goes on and on. You just look at these, Artie Burns. These are young guys, Artie Burns and those guys, rookies. You got to believe that they can do something. But until they do it, that puts so much pressure on Big Ben, and you just don't want to. But I don't want to hear all of this stuff about he's wearing down. You know that in 14 games Ben Roethlisberger played, y'all, he was only sacked 17 times. It's been worse for him. It's just that this defense needs to get better. That's what Tomlin should be focusing on.
Panic in Pittsburgh? No, not at all. Now, look, that's because, Stephen A., I agree with you, what you said yesterday. Ben Roethlisberger's talking retirement because he's down in the dumps right now because he just got humiliated. That's why he's feeling bad. He'll come around. He'll be fine. Now, if for some reason he actually retires, panic time. You ain't got a quarterback. You ain't got it. I mean, that's the whole thing. And you have a great future Hall of Fame quarterback on this team, so you're fine. But it's not just the quarterback. Let's start at the top. Maybe the best ownership in sports. I mean, it's one of them. The Rooney family. the franchise, the history of the franchise, the way it continues to be run. How about the coach? Top 3? I mean, there's Belichick 1. You want to say Pete Carroll, Mike Tomlin? He's right there. You want to say top 5? I'd say top 3. How about I mentioned the quarterback. How about the best runner in the game in LaDainian Tomlinson? How about an all-time elite receiver and a really good offensive line and a defense that improved throughout the season? You want to panic over that? How about the fact that you're in a division with the Browns and the perennial disappointment that is the Cincinnati Bengals if and when they make the playoffs? This is time to panic. Minimum 20 other teams in the NFL would sign up for the Pittsburgh Steelers problems right now. This is, unless Ben Roethlisberger actually retires, everyone in Pittsburgh, calm down. You're going to be fine.
Geez, Max, I actually agree with you on this one, brother. Listen, absolutely. The first things first. What Ben Roethlisberger is talking right now, it's what a lot of guys do right after the season. You're still full of emotion. You're still hurting and all those type of things. So what he was talking on the radio, a lot of guys would do that. You contemplate, man, maybe I should, or, maybe step away from the game, but I don't anticipate that happening. If he's talking about that, maybe all-season program, minicamp, then I would be scared at that point. But right now, that's no reason to be scared. Listen, Antonio Brown, the Pittsburgh Steelers have already addressed the whole Facebook Live thing. Antonio Brown, one of the best receivers in the National Football League. We know that the Pittsburgh Steelers as an organization, they probably do just as good of a job or probably better than anyone at developing wide receivers. But when we talk about Antonio Brown, we're talking about one of the premier wide receivers in the National Football League. Now, the question is, how can they help their team? How can they help their organization? One, that, hopefully they get Martavis Bryant back after the 1-year suspension. That's another key cog to their offense. But my problem is defensively. Mike Tomlin, and I would say most people would agree Mike Tomlin is one of the better head coaches in the National Football League. But that was an embarrassment, in the AFC Championship game, considering you come from a defensive pedigree. And to go out there and seem like to have no adjustments to what the Patriots were doing. I mean, guys were just running scot-free. All the receivers, I'm sitting there watching the game, I'm like, okay, are these defensive players going to touch the wide receivers? Guys are just running free, looking like 7-on-7 out there. So for me, I don't worry about Big Ben. I don't worry about Antonio Brown. Quite frankly, I don't worry about the offense. It's the defense I worry about. I know they're young on the back end, but I didn't see any adjustments that would, make me feel like, Mike Tomlin, come on, man. Like, you're supposed to be one of the better head coaches. We got to do better than this because, frankly, you got embarrassed in the AFC Championship game.
Well, I appreciate Damian Woody being the prophet that he is. Your wisdom is very, very special to hear.
Don't set me up. You're trying to. You're throwing a lot of alley-oop right now.
I'm not setting you up. Don't interrupt me when I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, okay? What I'm saying to you is that I'm touched that you basically listened to me yesterday and today, because that's essentially what I said. This comes down to their defense, and for you to have the wisdom to lean on my words of wisdom. I'm very touched, Damian. I'm very touched. There's hope for you after all.
Did you criticize Mike Tomlin? Did you criticize Mike Tomlin? Did you?
I had to.
Okay.
Did I not, Max?
I'm just making sure.
Is that not true, Max? I actually had to.
Let me ask you this, guys. Let me ask you this.
It broke my heart because I love the man.
I know
but
the
I
word,
had to.
when Terry Bradshaw used the word cheerleader, that caused a lot of consternation in Steelers Nation and for Mike Tomlin. But we get the drift, right? I mean, the idea is motivator, but maybe parenthetically not strategist. Is that what you're saying, Damian Woody?
Hey, the mark of any great head coach is adjusting, in-game adjustments. Did you see any in-game adjustments from the Pittsburgh Steelers? I know when I'm watching the New England Patriots, they really did the same thing that they've been doing year in, year out when they play the Pittsburgh Steelers. They just empty everybody out. They don't even really try to run the ball. They just throw the ball over the field. I didn't even see anyone from Pittsburgh really contest New England wide receivers. So if we're going to sit here and claim that Mike Tomlin's this great coach, you got to adjust. You got to do something to slow down.
Can we say this?
If we take cheerleader away and put in motivator, but saying not a strategist, do you agree with that?
No, because if Terry Bradshaw was saying this based on Sunday's game, we can't say anything. But Terry Bradshaw was saying that about the career of Mike Tomlin. And there's nothing in Mike Tomlin's career that warranted Terry Bradshaw saying what he said. That was wrong. But this past Sunday was a bad day for Mike Tomlin, Keith Butler, and that Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
Mike Tomlin's
there is no doubt about that.
And I got a team. Sign me up.
Let's leave it there. So we're not worried about Big Ben Roethlisberger collectively. Slight concern over Mike Tomlin after that last game. But are we worried about Jerry Jones? It's that time. It's hard to believe, but mom is the word for Jerry. The normally long-winded owner said the rest of the franchise is done talking about Tony Romo in public. This gets interesting. I'm not going to get into that at all, whether we've talked or not. We're at a juncture now that we need to just cool it in our public conversations about what we're going to be doing and not doing there with Tony. Stephen A., is Jerry being hypocritical?
Why do y'all even waste time asking me this question? Of course he's being hypocritical because he's a flaming hypocrite. I mean, what do you need me to spell it out for y'all? He's Jerry Jones. He says one thing, he does another. He does another, he goes back to doing what he used to do. He wants everybody to shut up, he talks. He talks, they shut up. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Jerry is about headlines. Jerry is about sizzle. Jerry is about notoriety because that obviously is something he can rely upon significantly more than winning because he's the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. It's what they do. That's just who they are. They sit up there, they will steal headlines. They will tease you. They will tell you one thing. They will get you all, just get you all stirred up, looking forward to whatever they're going to bring. And then they will break your heart. They will let you down. A matter of fact, make sure that when we go to commercial break, y'all play my video, which should win a Grammy, okay? You play that music accident waiting to happen. It's who they
This sounds personal.
are. Jerry Jones.
Look.
Period.
Look, narcissism as a personality disorder is on center stage in the United States of America right now, and I mean center stage.
Here we go.
Oh, God.
Yes,
Why don't you run for office?
Look, malignant narcissism is on center stage, and whether or not Jerry Jones is a malignant narcissist, as someone else is, he's certainly narcissistic, and it's a personality disorder. And one of the characteristics of this is that whatever came before doesn't matter now. Whatever's expedient and feels good and may curry favor at the moment is what a narcissist on the order of Jerry Jones will say and do. And so that frequently contradicts previous positions. We see this in our politics right now, and always have, but especially right now. So, yes, he's a hypocrite, and yes, the knee-jerk reaction, which Stephen A. you had, is to say that he's being hypocritical here. But actually, as you say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Actually, if you really look at the situation, he's not being hypocritical. He talked up Tony Romo all year. He loves Tony Romo. Many others did, too. The Broncos recently. Broncos players have talked up Tony Romo. What's changed? Season's over. Heading into the offseason. Got a contract to deal with. Do you move it? Do you keep it? Do you free up the cap space? Can you get something for it? And Jerry Jones, now that he has business to conduct involving Tony Romo, wants everyone, including himself, to cool it. That makes sense. You don't want to undermine Tony Romo's value, certainly in the marketplace. You want everything to calm down. You make a deal or you don't, and then you can start talking Tony Romo again. The specifics of this circumstance say he's actually not being hypocritical here.
Leave it up to the drama king, Stephen A. Smith, to go on about the Dallas Cowboys right now, but you still refuse to give Jerry Jones any credit in this situation. I know it's hard. I know the history of it, but you got to give Jerry Jones some credit. Past couple years, the man has been doing something right to see where the Dallas Cowboys are right now. And when you look at the Tony Romo situation, look, in the season is one thing, but now we are in the offseason, and we know this is the time where business is done. Everyone knows that Tony Romo's not going to be on the roster. There's no way you can carry around that type of salary cap number for a backup quarterback. So if you're Jerry Jones, of course you're not going to get into a big song and dance with a lot of people when you know you got to conduct business to get this guy moved. That's the prudent move for the Dallas Cowboys. They got a young quarterback who they have under salary cap control for a couple years. You just got to look towards the future. You're going to have to sign, if Dak Prescott keeps playing the way he's playing, you're going to have to address his contract. So for Jerry Jones right now, I applaud him for, shutting his trap.
Applaud him?
Applaud him for shutting his trap.
Let me see you applaud him. Applaud Jerry. Oh, look at that.
First of all, First of all,
it pains you, doesn't it?
Hold on. First of all, you got some nerve calling me a drama queen. You act like you come on the air all timid and quiet. Please,
I
that's
called you a
number one.
drama king.
And then you start up. Look at you. Bravo. Sitting there clapping for Jerry Jones. Bravo. Let me ask y'all a question. Both of y'all a question, including you, especially you, Damian Woody, you dare Benedict Arnold. Oh, I wish I was there right now to deal with you. Let me tell you something, Damian Woody. Just wait a second. Let me ask you this question. The operative words, the tagline right on the screen, Mollywood. Jerry Jones says, quote, "We just need to cool it," end quote. Let me ask y'all a question. Y'all don't have a problem with the fact that he didn't say that when Dak Prescott was quarterbacking and he kept bringing up Tony Romo? That was all right?
No,
but he gonna tell us to cool it now?
No, it wasn't all
That's what I'm
right.
talking about, the cool it.
It wasn't all right. But
All
we're
right,
in a
then
different
he is
season
a
right now.
hypocrite.
It's one thing to be during the season, but we're in the off season. It's two totally different seasons right now.
Oh, really?
It is business.
Oh, really?
It is
Really?
business right now.
Oh, it's business.
It
So
is
it wasn't
business.
business to let Dak Prescott play? Really? Really?
Yeah,
when
really.
Dak Prescott was playing and you brought up Tony Romo then with his bad back sitting on the sidelines, chilling, sitting in the suite watching Jerry Jones' grandchildren play a game and all of that other stuff, he could have cooled it about Tony Romo then. He didn't say that then.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What good does it do Jerry Jones to be doing the same thing he was doing in the season, talking up Tony Romo? It does him. It does him no good.
That's not
right
the
now.
question.
Yeah, the definition of insanity.
Wait a minute.
Stephen A., you're saying that if you don't
you're
go
the football
good money
player,
after
you're
bad?
the football player. I'm the journalist. You're the football player. I'm the journalist.
And what's your
I asked
point?
the damn question.
What's your
Don't
point?
ask me about this offseason. I'm saying to you, why did he not do this during the season? That's the question.
And I want to answer that.
That's the question.
I want to answer that. Your
Go ahead,
contention
Max.
seems to be, because Jerry Jones has made mistakes in the past, if he doesn't make a similar mistake now, he's a hypocrite. You got to throw good money after bad or you're a hypocrite. I reject that idea. It may be inconsistent, but you like inconsistency if you're consistently doing the
Why am
wrong
I even
thing.
listening?
Stephen
Why am I
A.
even listening to you?
Let me
You
answer your
love Tony
question.
Romo and you're a Giants fan. Oh,
don't
shut
like Tony
up.
Romo.
I don't want to hear it. Yes, you do.
You would bring up any stat to the Spurs.
Go ahead, Molly. I'm sorry,
surprised you haven't brought
Mollywood.
up
I'm
all
sorry,
the 20,
Mollywood.
25 years
Oh,
of mediocrity.
be quiet and let Mollywood
I'm surprised
speak.
you haven't even said
You
that.
be quiet and let Mollywood speak.
We
You're
all
lucky
need,
I'm not
we all
there.
need to cool it now like Jerry Jones. All I was going to say is the reason why he's doing it now is because now it involves dollars and cents. The man's a businessman. We will leave it there.
Yes,
Coming up-
Mollywood. Of course, Mollywood. You got it, Mollywood. Damien, I'll deal with
Why
you
do
when
you
I
have to say
see
my
you,
name
big
like
boy.
that? Damien, we'll
I'll
see
deal
you a
with you
little
when I
later in
see
the
you,
show.
big
Always
boy.
fun having you. But
I'm coming
you
back.
started a
Bye,
little too much
Damien.
trouble. Firestorm, I'd like to call it. Coming up next, we get into next Sunday's big game, and Bill Belichick is being very complimentary of the Falcons' offense. Does his #1 Pats defense have a chance against the Falcons' #1 offense? Plus, Peyton Manning is set to speak at a Republican retreat next week. Do the guys think there's a double standard for how the public's reacting to this compared to the way they shame Tom Brady for his relationship with Donald Trump? That's all coming up on First Take. And Stephen A., this is for you.
Mediocre team and big